Hello, let us know if we're live. Oh, we're here. I see yous are. I would say welcome to the Hangout, but you just start without it, which is good. I like this. It's good. Nice to see yous there. We'll see who is around. So if you're about, let me know. That would be good. Oh yeah, the lag has started to bugger off now, which is good. Nice to see you. Who's in? Leon's in. Nice to see you. Zoe's rocking the E's. The standard Geordie Mam vibes there. We're loving it. Joanne's in. Also enjoys cowies. What else we got? There'll be no more banjo strings today, unless you want to talk about it. And it is indeed your hangout spot. So who knows who's arriving? Duncan's about. Hello, brother. Good to see you. What else we got? What else we got? I think that's who's in at the minute. But it says there's more of you. Ah, James is here. Hello, James. Do you read comments from Facebook fam? What do you mean, dude? I've just read yours. Hello. Good to see you. Jojo's in. Hi, all normally watch the replay but want to be here for the hangout. Nice one. That's what it's about, man. Really pleased that you're here. We still don't know what it's going to be or what it's about or anything of that nature, but tell us. This is your comment section. I do have some things above, and you're not going to believe this. I've got a UFO video just in case. So if you want a bit UFO action, I'm your kiddie. Jenny Schramm, morning everyone. Morning, mate. Good to see you. Right. I hope I missed anybody out. Don't think so. Let us know if you're in the comments. That'd be good. So I definitely do have a UFO video, but I've definitely also got a dry throat. 2 seconds. No, anyway, I just did a version of me of the Geordie Mam thing. I don't know if it's a self-fulfilling prophecy though, but since we've been doing it on the stream, because I've like when you bend down and pick something out, I'm doing the whole like Geordie Mam thing, and but I also don't know if it becomes like a thing when you're a Geordie. As you get older, you just get anointed with the like Yoda call, the Geordie Om. So maybe that's a prelude to it. I'm gonna get me lightsaber, go around chin mackums and that. I'm not part of that whole ridiculous football thing. I'm a Gated fan, but go around giving back rubs to Saudis. I'm gonna get into trouble on this hangout thing, aren't I? Nightmares. Never mind. It's how it is. I'll walk through my city like a god. 2 seconds. James is saying, I was messaging yesterday on Facebook, but the comments seem to be for all YouTube, so I wasn't sure. I love the t-shirt. Did you go to the gig in South Shields last year? I wasn't about, mate. I didn't, but R.I.P. Mency for sure. One of the biggest regrets I've got is, like, I spoke to Mency a few times about coming on the show, right? This is Mency from Angelic Upstarts for people who don't know. And we just could never get it boxed off, mainly because of my health, or I had an event or something, and it never happened. And then obviously sadly passed away. What a great man though, eh? So if people don't know who he is, check out Mency Mensforth and the Angelic Upstart. Proud to rep them. But yeah, I do read stuff, and just on a technical thing with the Facebook, I don't know. Well, actually, you're doing it now, aren't you? You're commenting here now. So I guess it's working, but let us know if it doesn't work and stuff. But cheers, pal. Big up Angelic Upstart. What else? Leon is about, and Michael's about. Nice to see you, pal. Good to see you. How's the wonderful southern county Durham, or is it northwest Durham, isn't it? Got this orientated wrong in my head. Should know better. My father was born in Concert. I'm no stranger to Stanley, and used to play Bob Marley golf up at the Cozy Arch 9-holer. I'm not a golfer, but for one summer, we were all golfers. We used to get properly dressed up in like charity shop golf rig out, right? And and there was 4 and would roll a doob for, what can I say on here? Like purely for sporting reasons, and would have one between 4 like on every hole. So you'd imagine by the end it was like, you ever played Tiger Woods golf where there was grid vision? had great vision on. They later putting green screen in. Joanne's saying my mate was born in Concert. It's a fine place. I like Concert. Rough around the edges, but the countryside around about it, mint. That's right, Michael's Northwest Concert, nice and sunny. Yeah, I just want to watch this UFO video. Like, there's only one person here, Zoe. Yay, UFO videos. I don't know if it's actually got any UFOs on it, right? So I don't want to disappoint, because what I wanted to do was just react along with it like you. But it came up with me, what do you call it? Timeline. Bloody hell, man. I'll tell you why my brain's not working very well in a minute. But let's have a look. I'm already sharing the screen. Brilliant. What's here? I'm going to share this tab instead. We're going to have a look at some UFOs. That's what we're going to do. Right, 2 seconds. I'll just sort this guy out. Hey, shut up. So, what this is US Space Force Major General John Olson on worldwide UAP sightings. UAP is the new word for UFOs. I think people within the fields thought that they needed to switch it up for like credibility or something. So, the United States collection of data and the need for countries to collaborate and share information on UAPs, which I personally find very interesting, that we have people with this amount of medals that I'm about to show you. Look at all them medals, man. Look at the medals. I'll just get rid of that sharing of the stream thing. Just bear with us. Look at the medals on that. What do you think? How many people do you think he's murdered? It's dodgy ground saying things like that these days, apparently, but never mind. Anyway, let's see what this guy's got to say for himself.
And that UAP task force. And as far as I'm concerned, or am knowledgeable about that, I do believe it does involve collaborative inputs and information exchange with all kinds of countries around the globe, because I think these are not just solely actions or events that have occurred within the confines of the United States. They've occurred globally, and I think we're collecting that information. We're sharing information. We view that as an open and transparent effort and activity through the United States Congress, and executed by our UAP Task Force Office. And so I would encourage greater collaboration and cooperation in that, and particularly I think as we see various technologies that will help demystify or debunk or clarify. But I think it's also important. One of the reasons that we are doing this effort is because national security concerns are of paramount importance, and so is safety of flight and deconfliction and collision avoidance, and issues to preserve and protect human life. So when we can better share and exchange information, I think that's better, much like we do in the International Civil Aviation Organization, or otherwise known as ICAO, or in any other international bodies as well. I think there's a fertile and important opportunity to be pursued there.
China. So here's the thing, right? Mystic Cow predicts, prediction hat being put on. Not like this mad end of a condom looking thing that I never used to like in the past, but shouts to Jenny for buying it for us. Nice one. I've changed my view. Anyway, here's what I think, right? In terms of the whole, what Mr. James, what's he called again? Come here. What's your name, Major General James person? Major General John Olson. What's he giving it? Well, what I think's happening here is, right, there was something in the midst of that where we're like, oh, and I was thinking, you want to share this now? You want to share this intelligence around the world now about like UAPs or UFOs, which I find is really, really interesting, because to my knowledge, which standard over the last sort of over a decade or more, has been super limited when it comes to this kind of thing. Used to be bang into it when I was younger. I just feel it's going to evolve more into like arts encroachments from China, that kind of thing, because there was something he dropped in the middle of that about like sharing technology, but also collisions and all of this. I think from a wider perspective, like America, for the first time, certainly in the sort of 20th century, when it came out of its kind of isolationism thing, it is in its weakest position in terms of like global hegemony. And I'm going to suggest that a lot of this sort of UAP, UFO thing is like wrapped up within that national security side of things, because when an empire is starting to lose its power, and I'm referring to BRICS plus the petrodollar, and how that's all evolving, and how there's a new broom sweeping clean globally, headed by Russia and China, and there's going to be more and more of this coming in, and more like, here's one of the reasons we don't talk about the war, Russia and Ukraine, and why we haven't like thrown a lot in and all of that. Because if we've learned anything from any war, and there's been virtually perpetual war in my lifetime, then both sides do propaganda. And I think Major General John Olson there, wasn't a very good public speaker, was he? But there's a hell of a lot of like sort of loaded stuff within what he's saying. What do you think though? That's what I'm interested in, because this is the Hangout, guys. This is how we meant to do YouTube, and it, guys. I don't think I've said enough, guys. Do you think it helps the algorithm if you reach a certain threshold of the word guys, and it just pops you up for visibility? Ah, he's one of us, he says guys. Do you think that's what it is? James is saying, Northwest Durham represent, but I'm now in sunny Jarrah. Northwest Durham, man, that's the one. Joanna's saying a lot of UFO videos don't actually have UFOs on them. True. But here's the thing. What we're doing today is we're just going to do the Hangout, basically because I've got to catch up with so much since the crash, etc., etc. I mean, that's an ongoing process, but I need to get these emails sent out and book guests. So we are going to do it that way. I didn't think I mentioned that from the top of the show. One of those things, and one of the reasons I'm saying this, is we're going to contact the people who were going to come on before. I can't even remember what illness it was. Possibly shingles. I don't even know. They were going to come on, and the whole premise was like, I haven't kept up to speed with UFOs for well over a decade or more. So they're going to, the videos they've got rights to and whatever, we're just going to trigger them, play them, and I'm going to react to them. So that'll be absolutely mint, I think, because I want to see what they are. So I've been purposely avoiding any kind of UFO stuff for ages, which is frustrating because I've just been called to it again. I think really interested in it, and really interested in how it's going in terms of like acknowledgement from, certainly from the Americans, which, you know, there's always been like flat out denial, you know, so quite interesting. Right, what you're saying, aren't they born with medals attached? Probably tattooed on the inside of their head. Right. Project Bluebeam, Sarah Stone says. Totally, man. Project Bluebeam, for people who don't know, off the top of my head, I think it's something to do with holographic lasers, which would create anything that the user would want to create. So it could be a UFO or UAP, whatever you call it. There was, I recall somebody, I can't remember what his name was, right? But one of the conspiracy theory guys, right? Guys, I've just done it. I'm being infected with this YouTube virus, man. The woke YouTube virus. Guys. Honestly, yeah. These UFO videos we've got for you later are just tremendous, guys. Guys, hey, you guys is fest. It put us off going on YouTube for a long time because I thought it would just make it say guys all the time. There's nothing wrong with saying guys, but just when it's guys, good to get guys. You're wearing a disguise, guys. So my 8-year-old grandson uses guys on his vids. He does use guys on his vids simply because that's the default. So everybody copies everybody. Yeah, man, there's people from the Tune, right? Newcastle, ex-gangsters. For some reason, ex-gangsters or current gangsters, I don't know, have got YouTube channels. Pure entertainment, by the way. But also, like, people are going to get themselves killed. Like, I'm not even going to get into like reacting or commenting or talking about that because I don't want to have my balls cut off. But they're saying guys as well. No disrespect, guys. Guys, don't guy me off, guys. Guys. But anyway, Project Bluebeam, the 2012 Olympics. See how we dot around there? That's the Hangout, man. Cow Daily, bit more structured. What was he called, man? Ian something. He was dead set there was going to be an alien invasion above the opening and closing ceremony. I can't remember which. And it didn't happen, did it? But yet this man is still going. Brazen. He had something around the end of the Mayan calendar as well. Brazen. Now it's just like, oh, no, it wasn't the real calendar. It's going to be in 20 years. Hey, you were dead set like before that though, pal, weren't you? Now I'm not saying Project Bluebeam isn't a thing or whatever, but like there's not some bullshitters like invoke it and then just like look the other way when like the thing doesn't happen. That guy, I'll wait, guys, done the guys thing again, man, guys. Don't insane. I try not to use guys. Sounds rubbish with a lisp. Like I'm not gonna do. I'm not gonna do it because like it's you've just kind of give us a slight invitation to do the thing. So I ain't doing the thing. Right, hold on a minute. What we got? Morning, everyone. Hello, Jacqueline. Nice to see you, pal. Good to see you. So the hangout, my say. Hold on a minute. Leon's saying I say folks. I say dudes, which I don't know for a 46-year-old man from the northeast of England is a thing. But in mitigation, I grew up, and one of the people I grew up with, his father was from California, and it's basically like you would have Cheech Chong, and if he hadn't left, you would have had Pat. So it's like basically there's a whole like this group of like probably about 20 or 30 men from the Gateshead area who just say dude all the time, completely unself-consciously, because we just grew up around that. So there you go. Sarah is saying, never heard of the guy, but the military will use Project Bluebeam to blame Russia and China, a bit like the Chinese spy balloon. I mean, obviously, I have to say, for the purposes of like the platforms that we're on, that is your opinion, it's speculation and whatever, and you're perfectly entitled to it, mate. It's a free speech thing. And those things, false flags over the years, some of them have been proven to be correct, and that would be a thing I could say which wouldn't get us taken off or demonetized because I could factually back that up. So if we were to have that happen, then that would be good. So the theory goes Project Bluebeam exists. It is something that will create whatever you want to create, mystify people, and create whatever sort of outcome a false flag person might want to create. It'd be interesting if motherships were above major capitals around the world and it was proven to be a hologram. Like, what do you think that would do, right? You know, in terms of like warfare, but also in terms of like global relations, right? Like, what do you think it would do? Do you think it would start a war if somebody was like found to be like trying to pull the lead with this false flag Bluebeam thing? You would. I would suggest it probably would. I mean, it would be like, what would you be trying to achieve? Like some kind of like power play or whatever. It's a bit weird, isn't it? But then we've obviously seen the video where the Major General is calling for global unity around the thing, which is mad. The Americans calling for unity on something like what we see in terms of power and whatever, and people who play power games, they very rarely call for unity from a position of strength. And that's one of the things that we haven't quite got to yet on Cow Daily. And one of the things where, if we're going to talk in more like free flowing terms like this in the Hangout, that we probably could get to, which is like the way that power is shifting on a global level. And history shows that there's always problems when that happens, because the ones who are losing the power tend not to go without a fight. So quite interesting. Don't pay that. I'm a 42-year-old northern man. Say dude too. Dude for the win. Because that's the thing, that group of people who, the dude nucleus, right, around Dunstan's answer to the Big Lebowski is spread, and they've got friends, so that'll have spread. And I bet you've probably caught like a stray dude, and then that's how you do like, seriously, dude Event Horizon. Dude Ground Zero is based around the Highwayman pub in Dunstan. I'm telling you. So if we represent the concert massive, should we be calling everyone Mara? James Summerson Hollywood. That is a fine point, but it goes from like Mara, like, and that stops getting used. Probably, I would say, 5 miles south of there. Once you get over the border from, you probably know this yourself, like Durham, in like a sort of north of the Tyne thing, people don't really say Mara to south of the Tyne thing, but around Gateshead and whatever, like it's more like looks towards Newcastle. So I didn't grow up saying Mara at all. And my dad was born in Consett, but he grew up like in Gateshead, so he doesn't either. But my pals who grew up a few miles south, it's Mara this, Mara that. I think it's like partly not just the border, but because it goes up like really hilly and really hilly and really hilly. Like there's some kind of mad topographical border which like has something to do with the lingo. What do you think about that though? Have you noticed that too? Right, hold on a minute. What you're saying in here? Michael's saying I'm a priest of the Church of Dude. Indeed. Joanne is saying the Big Lebowski, dude is allowed. I agree. 2 seconds. I just need a drink. A lot of talking. As I said yesterday, if any of you want to pop up and talk about any particular topic, give us a shout, and we can do that. Like that's what it's about, really. Or it could be what the Hangout could be, whatever you want this to be. Entirely up to yourselves. Because I've been watching how other people are doing the live streams and all that, and it is a bit more informal, and I think that's good. So anyway, I do have other videos. So let's see if I can find another. Oh, there's this belter one on AI. 2 seconds. I'm just gonna figure it all out for you. Stop. So I very rarely watch like kind of mainstream news, but if I do, I watch Deutsche Welle, which is by no means perfect, but it seems to be a little bit more of a grown-up thing generally. Deutsche Welle being one of the national broadcasters in Germany, one of my favorite countries. I like some Germany. I like the Germans. They're very straightforward. He'll tell you if you're a James Hunt. Oh, don't knock your vape on the floor there. 2 seconds. Let's get rid of one. Where have you gone, my friend? You were there. Share this tab. Right. This was something interesting, a piece they have done on Deutsche Welle on AI. Well worth subscribing to Deutsche Welle News, but Deutsche Welle documentaries are second to none in my view. Anyway, what they're saying.
Rogue artificial intelligence could, quote, kill everyone.
Future AI development could be the end of humanity.
Because the first time you fail at aligning something much smarter than you are, you die.
A lot of people are worrying about the race to develop smarter and smarter AI. It can already craft near flawless text in no time, generate stunning images, and avatars that can speak any language you want.
At the click of a button. Mit einem Mausklick. एक button के click पर.
But where does it go from here, and why are some people so concerned?
The sense is that in AI, it's all going so fast that regulation and society just don't really have any chance to catch up.
Vincent is one of 3 AI experts we talked with. They are part of a group of over 1,000 esteemed scientists and philosophers who signed an open letter calling for a pause of at least 6 months to AI development. They all have different reasons, but worries range from bad,
such as many jobs being automated away,
to catastrophic.
It's beyond our control.
If I had to guess, the most dangerous things that the superhuman AIs could do is messing with the environment in a way that it just becomes uninhabitable to us. It's just like we, as species, have driven many other species extinct, not by directly being kind of angry at them or anything.
This is what experts call the alignment problem. Don't think of classic evil robots like Skynet and the Terminator, whose direct intention is to wipe out humanity. Think rather of misaligned robots, who see humans as merely being in the way in the pursuit of another objective.
So there are these futuristic scenarios that people describe where somebody...
Hold on a minute. Hold on. Hold the bloody phones. That's almost even worse than like some kind of like evil AI robot. It's just ones that do a calculation and realize we are in fact useless eaters and we just get absolutely murdered. No way. And they're all compiling out of UFOs from Project Bluebeam. You imagine that shit, man. Soon come.
Trains this incredibly intelligent AI system and then gives it the objective to maximize the number of paper clips that it manufactures, right? Maybe this is a paperclip factory. But unfortunately, what the owner didn't think about is that the way to maximize the number of paper clips is actually to take over the entire world and maybe take over the entire universe and turn everything into this giant paperclip factory.
Machines don't always understand our intentions because language can be confusing.
That's where the idea to hit the pause button comes in, to slow down AI development, giving us more time to think things through and address potential risks.
Right, there's one thing, right, that I just wanted to point out. I don't know if it's still the same thing, and I don't know if it's been cleaned up or whatever, but you remember when all these sort of voice-activated things started happening, like Siri and things like that, and maybe even earlier iterations of it? Geordie accents were the #1 dialect that it didn't understand. And I don't know if that's still the same thing, but can you imagine it, right? That, like, picture the scene. Like, Geordies are the only things AI can't understand. So AI goes, robots go around killing everything. But what they do is they send in a secret special force of Geordies with no weapons just to go up and talk to them. And it scrambles their brains so much they just fall over, and then humans win. Can you imagine that though? How cool that would be. And then we would win. And maybe the world would forgive us for not really saying much about, like, some of the worst people on the planet owning the football club. Anyway, yeah. So let's see what's in the comments. Jenny is saying, it's worrying how easily people believe AI pictures. I saw one recently about kids at a raw meat eating event. The pictures look real and people were losing their minds in the comments. Defo, I haven't explored into those things as much as I have with ChatGPT and that side of, like, the written AI. But yes, and you're quite right as to go on to say very worrying in terms of propaganda. Well, it is, isn't it? I mean, there's a hell of a lot of stuff which we can't believe the evidence of our eyes and ears, which is a strange thing. Very strange indeed. Right, I'll just put this AI vid back in and we'll finish it off, because I'm finding this very interesting.
Many experts are urging governments to create clear rules and tougher regulations, a bit like with other dangerous technologies like nuclear weapons.
Most regulation is done in the rearview mirror, usually after you've already hit something. And it takes a lot of skill to be able to anticipate the future. And in the world of AI, that's incredibly hard, because literally next week, some kind of new development might 10x or 100x our current AI capabilities. We're at this kind of junction in history where almost anything is possible, almost overnight.
Some of those possibilities may be...
Just want to jump in on that bit as well. I would have kind of, like, not been skeptical at what she just said there about, like, sort of 10xing the AI capacity and whatever. But then I obviously use ChatGPT, I haven't even used it to its full potential. And I completely agree. The applications of this are mind-blowing AI. So I want to sort of mention, I'm going to come to Jacqueline's point there in a moment as well, that it's really sort of changed the way that I work just in the last week. I realized that, like, I've certainly during the sort of lockdowns and whatever, I've, like, really missed bouncing ideas off people. What it does is, because it kind of responds back at the speed of your thought, there's something about, like, that gap of getting... I seem to have issues in terms of, like, skills acquisition, because I can get frustrated that I don't get the answer quick enough for the speed of that my brain's going at. Like, literally for the first time in my life, and I know I'm not neurotypical, or I might be, I don't know. I haven't been assessed for anything. Doesn't feel like it though, so at times. But it felt like the world got easier. My partner as well, she is dyslexic and she's used it also, and she's flown on, like, designing a website, and it's really helped her. Because it's not just about, like, the sort of getting more things done, it's about the headspace that it clears to then sit there and go, cool, this is all flowing and all things like that. So Jacqueline's point, she's saying to Joanne, you're right, it could save us by refusing bad orders that our leaders might make. When I was using ChatGPT, I was spending time on the evening, I was trying to teach it, like, I don't know if this works or not, because I suspect that this may be a way of like because it's new, like acquiring knowledge, like obviously from the pool. So I'm seeing it as an opportunity because it feels a bit more it feels a hell of a lot more two-way than Google. Best way I can describe it is if you think a library is to Google what Google is to ChatGPT. It's, for me, that big a leap in terms of skills, knowledge acquisition. It's mad, like absolutely mad. So if you haven't tried it, have a good play around with it. But I honestly think, to your point, that it is an opportunity, if that's what these things do develop into, that we can teach it things. So I've been teaching it like, I'm treating it like an intelligent toddler, like, which is like a sponge, and it wants to sponge morals and values and things. So like, it feels like a two-way thing. It's weird. Give it a try. You can find out more and more about it. Right. Let's see what else. Right, 2 seconds. I'm going to kick that video back in and we'll watch the rest of it, because Deutsche Welle News, they're your boys.
Be hugely beneficial. The experts we spoke to stressed they aren't calling for a complete halt to AI development.
So we should be cautious not to be too cautious about AI. There are great things that it can potentially bring to the world, and we don't want to kind of corner the future of development entirely.
For as worrisome as they are, doomsday scenarios are still speculative, and not all experts agree on the dangers posed by AI.
Today's AI is not yet able to take over the world. Actually, somebody built a system called Chaos GPT, whose explicit goal is to eliminate humanity.
Jeez.
And fortunately, so far, it has not yet succeeded.
Not yet. But this is why would somebody build Chaos GPT with the goal of the humanity and all of the things of that nature, like wiping us out? Like, people are weird, aren't they? Like, I'm sure like 4chan and all that kind of shit has just wiggled people's heads to bit. Anyway, Slaz is a boot. Hello, pal. Monol just got out here, been out with Muttley. It's bitter. Hope the dog's doing canny in yourself, pal. All the best. Leon is saying, if your job can be replaced, then why aren't we doing it and looking at the UBI or robot tax? The UBI, universal basic income, is a consequence of this. It has to happen. The options are pretty stark. Like, universal basic income or reduce the population, because think of all the jobs. Think of all the jobs. Like, honestly, it's unbelievable. A hell of a lot of jobs are just gone or going. And with each iteration of AI, it's going to be less and less jobs. And the problem that we've got is like, as we've certainly seen through lockdowns and whatever, the owner class, the people who like own things, run society, are just there for a reason: greed. So I'm not holding out much hope that they're going to actually respond to the needs of, well, the future and going forward. And this is where the likes of China steal a jump, because they think in like the long term. Our owner class, they think in terms of the short term. So they have their placemen in the establishment, in positions of, well, elected positions, and, well, they're there to do the bidding of the owner class, aren't they? Unfortunately, as we've seen, certainly in terms of the climate, in terms of just everything. I mean, capitalism has no answers, does it? Like, not certainly for the questions that are posed by 2023. As Leon goes down, it'll all collapse sooner or later. Well, it will. You're quite right, mate. And I mean, in some respects, I'm pleased I'm alive now. Like, just to see all of this and see the way, like, it's not even about the things that are happening. What I'm really interested in is how people are responding to the things that are happening. I'm finding it so interesting. And I hope you are too. And it's one of the reasons why I wanted to do this Hangout as well as Cow Daily. I think I didn't really know what I wanted Cow Daily to be, because you don't until you do stuff, and that's the thing that like people kind of miss out on. Sometimes you just gotta like bite the bullet and do it. I'm starting to like work out that it's a bit more sort of a formal sort of presentation of evidence, whatever. Whereas this is, oh, here's some random stuff. And do you know what it is? I've missed that. I've missed just the sort of ad-libbing and just having conversation with people. So one of the things I'll be doing today is obviously getting those like guests invited. Like yesterday, I ended up just doing loads of editing in the afternoon and making them short, because in terms of marketing my work and getting things out there, all the reach is in short videos at the minute. So that's what we're all about. That's what we're doing. Wow, that's kind of heavy. Monsieur Smith, I'm scared for my daughter, her future, and the world she's in. I understand. And part of what this is about is community, and we'll do this together, even though we're all disparate and apart. And I think I value this, and I hope you do too, because, I mean, let's have it right. Not everybody's on the same page these days, are we? And it's nice to have this like little sanctuary every morning, and I just hope that you invite more and more people to have this sanctuary where we can just talk about things and just do it in an informal manner and do it together, because it hurts me that you're scared for your daughter and the future and the world, but you know what it is, we're going to always try, and as long as we're trying, it's about like the process as much as any outcome. I'm trying to stay detached from any outcome and just try and do things in integrity with myself, because that's never let us down. People let you down, but if you know, you get to decide whether you let yourself down. And sometimes I let myself down, but I try and just do the right thing. And as long as we keep doing that, and we're more and more would keep doing that together, and just refuse to believe the lies that are being laid on top of her, but without being rage about it, then it's going to be like a good thing. It'll be a good sanctuary, and that's what I hope it can be, from my perspective. But it could be whatever you want it to be. Joanna's saying very much a sanctuary indeed. Jacqueline is saying, I'm hopeful for the young generation. I just hope that we haven't ruined things too much that they can't fix in the future. Do you know what it is, Jacqueline? I think it's like people sort of our age, you know, I think that it's our job to try and hold that back as much as we can, so the young people don't have as much to fix. If indeed, certainly with climate, we can get that far, and it is in the balance. I mean, you look at the Extinction Rebellion, the big one, they decided not to do non-violent direct action and did a march the weekend. Show me in the mainstream media where it was covered with the same energy it's covered when Extinction Rebellion do non-violent direct action. And that's always been the way. Like when I was involved in non-violent direct action when I was younger, you know, you had to do wild shit to get in the Chronicle. There was no Facebook at the time. You had to do stuff to get in. I've shown you a picture on here before where I was like had a banner in the middle of gale force winds on top of the Barrack Road Esso garage. That was a few days after 9/11. So, but we did on the Northeast News get the #1 story above Osama bin Laden. So that was why you do these things. But obviously, it gets you an arrest. So I understand why people are doing non-violent direct action, because this isn't mine, and I'm sure many of you's first rodeo, and I understand that like sometimes you have to put your freedom on the line to make a point, and it shouldn't be that way. 100,000 people at the weekend, and the media did not cover it. Like, what are activists supposed to be doing? Like, it's so bad. The media are like, what gets me is, right, the media live on this planet. Like those people, like Leona mentioned your children, all that, many of them have children too. What goes on in somebody's head that they'll value their position in a society that's going to collapse more than actually using their position to prevent its collapse? Mad. Jenny is saying, hopefully the aliens will come and liberate us from our evil overlords. I have thought that too. Maybe that is where the hope is. Like benevolent Nordic aliens come sweeping in and just go, guys. And then they just go, will you be interviewed for my YouTube channel, and then leave? Because that's the advancement of society in their world. 100 years beyond us. They've given up war, but everybody has to have a YouTube channel and share their thoughts 24/7 on pain of death. Joanne is saying there's more coverage of the length of the non-violent direct action jail sentences than the action itself. Yeah, fully. I mean, we covered a Just Stop Oil protester, Morgan, who was up the top of a crane, and he got 3 years the other day, a massively excessive sentence, and it's not going to end there, is it? I just hope that with legal challenges and whatever, like, Morgan can be freed. Imagine putting somebody like him who's literally trying to save the planet. It was the guy who was above the Dartford tunnel. You might remember the video. Right, I've got one or two other things. We might as well do it. These things, right, when it's I did upload it yesterday, the Hangout and the whole thing as it went into Cow Daily, and I did that for the audio people. But from now on, there'll be just Cow Daily being uploaded to the audio, and this will just be a live thing, you know? So simple as that. Brian Cartwright pops up, a new person. Hello, pal. Hope you're doing well. The machine stops. Which machine, my friend? I might have missed an earlier chat in the comments, but really nice to see you pop up, my friend. All the best. Right. Let me get this other video. It's an interesting one, right? It also is from DW, and it's about a bear who recently murdered a jogger. I'm probably going to get grief for using the word murdered as well, because the last time I spoke about rewilding, I wrote about it a little bit, right? And the grief I got for my opinion, which I will share to you after this video. So really interested in your thoughts on this and what has occurred here. Absolute madness, like, but yeah, that's my opinion. I should leave it until after. This is about the bear in Italy. Check it out. Pardon for a brown bear, it says. In early April, a brown bear killed a jogger in northern Italy's Trento province. For the bear, Gaia was recently captured by Italian authorities. The crowd showed up in Milan to demand its release with teddy bears, including Winnie the Pooh. Oh my God. Free Gaia in Italy. In the jogger's hometown, Caldes, some people think otherwise.
Ragazzo eccezionale.
He was exceptionally
Ha
friendly.
fatto
Young
male
man.
a
It hurt
tutti
so,
perché
so
era
much.
un
Says
ragazzo.
Caldes resident.
Non le dico, guardi.
Something is not done
No,
about
è
the
una
bears now.
cosa. Se non fanno qualcosa, qua la gente
There'll
si
be a revolt
rivolta perché
here.
non puoi andare a far
You
legno.
can't go into the
I
forest like this
funghi non
anymore,
può
neither
più
the
andare
cutwood nor to pick
nessuno.
mushrooms.
Tutti hanno
Everyone
paura.
is afraid. Life Ursus Project first reintroduced a dozen bears to the Trento province in
Lo studio di
1999.
fattibilità posto alla base del progetto ci diceva che ci sarebbero stati casi problematici, ci sarebbero stati anche episodi di aggressione nei confronti dell'uomo, quindi cose che sapevamo che
This guy is talking about like bear attacks, aggression. This has culminated in the death. The area is now home to some 100 brown bears, but there's a few people browned their knickers when they've been out on the trails. I certainly would. Imagine one of the, especially if you see them with bloody cubs. So, more from the Deutsche Welle. What are you saying? Oh, Michael's in the comments. Came face to face with a bear in Bulgaria, got right in my face, and had, as it took 10 minutes, piss before walking off. That would have been abundantly scary. Dave Slaz, the term unalived bugs the shit out of me. Joanne, the jogger was a morning snack. It was. Jez, was it off its nut on powder? The bear. That's mad. I'm obviously missing something. But so what do you make of this, man? Because like my crack with this is right. My crack with this is that I have spent extended periods in like mountain areas and things of that nature, which have bears and wolves in them, and it completely and utterly like sort of changes the way that you sort of relate to the space, particularly when you have dogs, because obviously you don't want the dogs to go running chasing off after bears because you can't fight the bear and all that. So it's really weird not being the apex predator. And there's times when I've been like out on the trails, right, like up a mountain, probably nobody around for miles, and you just feel, hold on, I'm being hunted. You just get this instinct where being hunted. That could have been, paranoia as well. I don't know, but those two things maybe they're the same. And what I've found is when I'm in wilderness places like that, right, it's you tap into something completely different internally, like your instincts that you just don't in the city at all, and it tunes you into the hum of the land and the rhythm of it, and I can really feel that, like, without being too woo. I can really, once I spend enough time in the land where I'm not talking and things like that, I can really feel what's around it. And I'm telling you, I'm sure I've been like trailed, let's say, by a pack of wolves, and it feels really, really scary because we're not allowed to have guns. And what I got loads of grief for, right, was, and this is my view, if we're going to do rewilding, right, which I'm not necessarily against, give me a gun. Because as we've just seen there, it was a matter of time before somebody got jacked, because these things are not toys. Like, I know we've all grown up with teddy bears and stuff, right? And these things are wild animals. Like, when people talk about monsters in the woods, those are the monsters in the woods. Like, but the thing is, most of the time, they'll leave you alone. And that's something that you do tell yourself when you're out, like, in the land, which is their land, it's their territory. You've got to understand that they are the apex predator. A pack of wolves will jack you up in 5 minutes. A pack of wild dogs will do that, man. There was case near Murcia in Spain, and this wasn't in the wilderness. This was on an industrial estate. A pack of wild dogs. It was a man from Bulgaria, actually. He was going to work, and he just got jacked by this pack of wild dogs. They stripped him naked and tore a load of his skin off. And it took, the coppers turned up and had to fire 14 shots to get rid of them because they were just wild, like bloodthirsty. So they had to go out and hunt the pack of wild dogs because, I mean, this actually links into a story I know about the Spanish Civil War, actually, where there would be like mass graves. The fascists would like just have mass shallow graves, and some of the local like dogs and like would go and they would like eat the freshly killed bodies, like still fresh blood and everything like that. And even much loved dogs, sadly, in the village, the pueblo, the locals, if they were anarchists or on the other side, they would have to go and shoot their dogs because they knew, like, once it got a taste of human blood, done. That's more wolf than dog. So these are things that we need to understand, that we have a big relationship with, like, dogs. I certainly do, but they're not wild. Like, I mean, saying that, my collie sometimes has proper wolf traits. I've had to properly train him. I got him as a rescue, and he was wild. So it was a year to win the respect, let's say. So I would like to have a gun when I go out into those wild places, just a rifle on my back, just in case we stumble across a bear with its cubs, and that's not a good thing. Mother bear with cubs, anything with cubs. You've seen how, like, Facebook Huns with the snacks and that react about their bends. Imagine a mama bear. I'm not dancing with that devil, mate. It's getting capped. I swear. I'm not. I want to look at it. I want to see it. I want to see it from a distance. And if it comes near us within a range, I'll put one in the air. If it keeps coming, I'm going to shoot it. But as it stands, we don't have. And one thing I'd like to make clear: these are all quite rare. But you cannot have bears attacking joggers in woods, and then people just, that whole response was, well, it's the bear's world, and that's not reflective of the real world, is it? Because, like, humans, whether you like it or not, have supremacy on this earth, and you cannot just have it where, like, those local people who've been going to them woods for centuries now can't like pick their mushrooms and chop their wood. Like you just can't have that. So what's the balance here? I think it has to be balanced, and I'm for rewilding in certain scenarios and that, but it doesn't seem to me like there's been very much in the way of like, because there's like a way of actually mitigations when it gets spicy, because that wasn't the first time, it was just the first death in that area. Interesting. Jez is saying, in World War II on the Eastern Front, Russian and German forces stopped fighting and worked together to fend off huge packs of man-eating wolves who'd been feasting on the heaps of the dead. Whoa, that's mad. That I heard like there was loads of that like in oh, where was it, man? I can't remember. Got it. But Slaz, who has come out walking with me and Zeb, remembers a Zeb moment, and I'm going to suggest it was when we went down the Derwent with me, you, and Lee Higgins. And Zeb has never done that very much, but there was a pigeon which was like just in front of him, like, and he just went and jacked it, and then just started playing with it on the floor. I had to rip him off it because he was like it was in pain, and get a log and smash its brains in, which was horrible to do, but also embarrassing in front of Slaz and Lee because he's really let the side down. Zeb is part wolf, telling you. Some dogs just are. Some dogs just are. Brian Cartwright, Cocaine Bear. Have you seen that, right? I'm only aware of that because I watched the martial arts and it sponsored some of the fights the other week. It was on the Octagon. Like, what's the crack? Is it like a bear finds some beak and then just goes off on a like beak rampage? Because you don't need a bear for that. Half of Newcastle's at it. Rampage. Oh, yeah. Like, I don't know if you're watching or listening, right? But my pal Giggsy, right? I sent him an article the other day, and it was about this submarine. And it was like drugs cartel now has submarines to land tons of cocaine in Europe. His response was the hunt for White October. It's the simple things, but I was laughing for hours after. Big up yourself, guy. All the best, pal. Joanna's saying boars have big tusks. You don't want to come face to face with a mummy and daddy boar. I don't know if I've ever told you, right, about this happened in it wasn't in the same area, it was in a different area. It was wild boars normally only come out dusk and dawn. It's very rare you'll see them in the like daylight hours, right? But I was up a mountain, 4,000 foot up, so it was low hanging cloud, and it wasn't like in those type of areas I don't go out like first thing because you just let the local wild animals figure it out. And then off to bed, most of them go. But this, I think it must have like tricked the wild boar because it was still kind of dark and whatever. And I'd been to the summit, and I was on my way back down, and I swear to God, right, if you imagine, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles as a bebop, like the pig thing, and it's jacked. Like all I saw was in silhouette amongst the sort of darkness and the cloud down this like trail I was on. And it was just looking at us like, you could see the fucking tusk. I was like, and my arse was like, it's very rare. Like I'm very experienced in the wild, right? That shit myself. I didn't check to see the gusset of my undercrackers, but it could definitely have looked like the Turin Shroud. And one of the things I advise you to do if you're ever in a wild boar situation, right? Don't turn your back. Same with most wild animals. As soon as you turn your back, well, you're showing a sign of weakness. All you got to do, keep yourself big and walk backwards. If it really wants to do you in, it's going to do you in. I started doing that, and the boar with its front paw, I was like, fuck you, dude. And I was lucky I didn't have Zeb with us because it would have killed Zeb. But Zeb would have also fought it as well. I've seen Zeb pin a Great Dane by the throat, nails. But I've also seen him like Jesse his way out of things. Weird. Mostly he's hard as hell, but sometimes he's a Jesse. Weird. But anyway, I would strongly suggest if a wild boar's doing that, Zeb's probably like, who the fuck are you talking now? Because it's what he's like. So that was mad scary. So rewilding is a thing which, you know, it can't just be all like, oh, well, just lob all these like mad monsters in the woods and just expect it to be fine. Like, it's not going to be fine, as we've seen in Italy there. So there needs to be a conversation about it. Jenny's saying, watched the documentary, and apparently pepper spray is the best thing to fight off a bear due to their highly sensitive noses. I'm not sure if like human pepper spray would work, but you can get bear spray, which is just like there's a canister off the bottom, right? And it's like half a fire extinguisher, with like a lever on it. Personally, I'd rather have a fucking gun, to be honest. I don't want to mess about with that shit. Like, if we're gonna go into those lands, or if you're gonna like reintroduce them to lands, then I just can't see like people are gonna get killed. Like, it's going to happen. Not only that, if you release like wolves into an area, like your dogs are going to be killed because the wolves are going to see them as being in their territory. So eventually they're going to find them and get them. And unless you have like it's walled off and whatever. But that's what they're about, man. They're killers. They're also wonderful and beautiful and majestic animals. And I only ever want to see them from a distance. And I've never ever seen one in the wild, and I've had plenty of opportunity. I thought I did maybe see one like off in a field, like in the distance, but I didn't have any eyeglasses at the time, so binoculars, so I couldn't confirm. But it could have been a dog from that distance. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, look, in northern Portugal, right, in the mountains there, like it's super wild, and it's like one of the only places in Europe where you get the Cantabrian bear and the Iberian wolf. The dogs, right? People have got them, and sometimes they're allowed to just roam, and they've got collars on them, like spiked collars. And I don't know if it's like just a traditional thing now or whatever. And massive, these dogs, and you'd back them against a wolf. I mean, I think a whole pack of wolf would do anything in, but I'd back one of my neighbour's dog, like back when I was around about there. I'd back them against, say, 2 wolves with the collar. Absolute jaw on the thing. And it hated me at first. By the finish, he was just had this like nod thing going on, but I was still a bit wary because it was half wild. And we've got to understand, right? It's all well and good sitting in a city saying release the Kraken, but if you're not in the lands where the Kraken be, then I don't think you can say that. But I think we should definitely get into a non-polarizing conversation about it, which includes what people who actually live in those lands say, and then just not mug them off as some kind of like bumpkins, because I swear to God, there's some of the knowledge that you pick up from people who've just lived in those lands all their lives. Amazing. David Teasdale, is there any way I can listen live? I usually listen via Spotify, but it's not live. YouTube guns off when I put phone in my pocket when I'm doing my deliveries. Normally we'll upload stuff to Spotify, but we're just trying something new. I don't want to we're going to do that. Like, I mean, you can. I'm trying to think what you could do. Because we're broadcasting on Facebook as well. When you close your phone, does that work? I don't know, but maybe people in the comments could help you, David. But nice to see you here, brother. All the best. Dave Slaz is saying there's a pair of foxes that I feed almost daily. I need a wildlife cam to capture them. Do it, man. You know what it is? What I'm seriously thinking about doing, like ASMR videos for the channel as well. Like some of the walks that I'm doing with Zeb, and then because I've seen some of them and like I really enjoy it, and it's something that's completely different from all of the like mad politics stuff that we're doing. I think we need balance, and that's a lot of what the Hangout's about. As I said yesterday, I needed to do the historical record thing about the Labour Party because they just took the piss. So whatever little energy I had, listen, if anybody makes it personal with me, that I have pettiness levels of 50 Cent. So that was why. But here we are talking about bears and UFOs. And one thing I do want to leave you with, which I thought was amazing, and it's not actually from where I used to live in Shetland, but it's not too far away. Absolutely an utterly beautiful display of the Aurora Borealis the other night. I don't know why I'm speaking Jeffrey talk, but here we are. The Aurora Borealis. Here it is. Look at this, man. This was in Moray, which Kinloss, Northern Scotland. Look at the beauty of this, man. That, for me, right, is just what it's all about, isn't it? It's like, my partner and I have seen these as well. We saw them when we lived in Shetland. And what people like maybe don't realize is quite often they're in like noir, like sort of blacks, whites, greys. And when you see them develop and moving, like we saw them at St. Ninian's Isle in Shetland, which is a Trombola beach, you know, where the sea comes in either side and there's this narrow sort of patch of land. I've got some belter photos of that actually. I was thinking I would show you them, like just things that have like washed up, like looking like the Montauk Monster and that. So there's a few different shots. Yeah, let's have a look. Look at that one, man. That's just beautiful, isn't it? Like through the clouds as well, like a break in the cloud. Amazing. Class. I love those ones where they're over like people's houses, you know. Kind of like brings a lot of it home as well. Then also quite often you don't see them with their natural light, so you need to be kind of away from too built up areas. Class that. Like look at the purples, man. They were purple and yellow and red and on fire. Shouts the orb. What a belter, man. How beautiful. Wow, says Jez. I loved St. Ninians. I have spoke about St. Ninians before, Slaz. Oh, David's saying, sorted, I can close my case and Facebook still plays. So I'm an analog clock in the digital world. That's cool, mate. 9:30 every morning for the Hangout. Hope to see you here every day. Tell a friend to tell a friend and all that. I just enjoying like doing this kind of live streaming as well. Cow Daily will be back. Like we will be doing Cow Daily, but some days I've just got to do admin work, especially after like the crash and catching up. So anyway, buzzing, David. Nice to see you, pal. It's always nice when people who don't pop up in the comments, but they do like listen to the show on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or watch it elsewhere. It's always nice when you pop up and see you're about. So what's Laz saying? I've walked to Muckle Flugger and Dodge Skewers. They're mental seagulls on steroids. They certainly are. Muckle Flugger, is that the northernmost point? Because we didn't get over it because it was winter and there was that many ferries and small boats cancelled that it just looked completely and utterly like not the one. But we went as far north on Shetland mainland as you can go as well. Walked up and it was amazing. The light. Seriously, I've been all over the world, and the light that you get from Shetland, it's just unbelievable, unrivaled in some respect. I love Shetland, man. I love the people of Shetland. I was actually talking to somebody on our Facebook page the other day. I'd shared a video from Colin Anderson Jewelry, who near where we used to live in the same village, Hossick. That's where she's based, and her studio looks out onto Hossick Bay. And I used to like walk in front of there with the dogs. So I shared it and she thanked me. And I was like, I used to live there. And I was actually looking through my phone the other day and I've got took a panorama picture, which is just next to her studio. Weird, isn't it? It's weird talking. Shouts to Chris and Wilf as well. Two of my friends from up there, Wilf the dog and Chris the man. All the best, mate. So Jez is saying, apparently the Finns believe that if you point at the Northern Lights, your finger falls off. I didn't know that. That's weird. Also, shouts to the whole country of Finland for rinsing it out of Andrew Tate last week. That was an absolute belter. Basically because he was trying to do some kind of like sauna, like I'm a big hard lad. And they were like, that's really cold sauna, mate. Right. So that has been the Hangout. As I say, if anybody wants to pop up, I'll send you the link and all of that. Actually, there's one more thing. And it's just in line with what went on yesterday. Can you see it? Let's see. Check this out, man. So this happened like probably an hour or two after we stopped recording yesterday. For people who don't know, Cow Daily was about Russell Brand, Tucker Carlson, and General Fashery, and wondering whether Russell Brand is now with the Fash. Mad. So what it says here, Fox News staffers celebrate Tucker Carlson's departure. Pure joy. Fox News and Tucker Carlson have parted ways. The rest of the network seems thrilled. Pure Joyce, one Fox reporter told Rolling Stone of their reaction to the split. No one is untouchable. It's a great day for America and for the real journalists who work hard every day to deliver the news at Fox. Right, just stop you there. There's, right, look into the Dominion thing, right? And this guy, like real journalists and all of that, like Fox News is an absolute plague, man. So anyway, it was a good move to part ways with Tucker added a producer. He knowingly spread lies throughout his time at Fox, but I fear management will replace him with someone who's just like him, so there probably won't be any real change. And there you go. That's just it right there, isn't it? Rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic and also just putting another ghoul in. Somebody said that, like Russell Brand jumping into bed with Tucker Carlson's probably the prelude to Tucker Carlson getting a deal with Rumble. That's probably what's going to happen next. Didn't mention it yesterday, but Rumble is, at least its sort of seed funding was funded by Peter Thiel. I do have to get off though, so look into ESL who Peter Thiel is. Jez is saying, haha, Tucker Carlson staring in confusion. Indeed. Right, hope you're good. Love to all, and really nice to see new people pop up as ever. The Hangout. Let's develop it into something beautiful. I really do think there is definitely a place for this kind of thing, because there's a hell of a lot of loneliness about, and it doesn't have to be, does it? It doesn't have to be the way. I'm going to do a hell of a lot of admin and invites and general catch-upery. If you want to support the work, go to patreon.com/cowdaily. It's patreon.com/cowdaily. Also, there's a link in the description for PayPal if you want to make a one-off contribution to our work. See you later, everybody. Love to all as ever.